We have a global vision, is we don't think any child in the world should be denied therapy because they don't have the means to get it.
Hey, Dr. Bill here with another segment in our famous Meet the Mentor. So the whole objective of doing these Meet the Mentor interviews is this. We put on a great program called Leap Week every year. Leap goes all year long with a lot of different educational curriculum and things like that we make available to you. But Leap Week is 1 week at UCLA. It will be July 22nd to the 28th this year. And we'll have probably close to 450 students there from all over the world, age 15 to 25. The goal of LEAP is to teach students the skills to be successful in life. That's what we do. And we do that by bringing in great mentors, great speakers, and we show you what they did that made them successful. So in doing that, we thought instead of just having LEAP Week be 1 week, what we would do is bring in mentors every week and have them talk about their businesses and their successes and you know, their struggles and the things that they did to overcome those struggles so they could be successful. So with me today, I have my good friend Brian Kaspar. He has a new company called Gemiini, which we'll talk about a little bit. Gemiini basically has developed an internet-based therapy for patients that have special learning needs. Many of their patients are on the spectrum and don't really respond well to traditional educational therapies, treatments, techniques and whatnot. And so what they've done is they've made a lot of progress in teaching children, especially children with autism and things like that, how to learn in a way that's never been done before. And we'll have Brian talk about that. But just so you know what his base is, Brian started as a CPA. After leaving Los Angeles for Washington State, Brian ran a real estate brokerage group and several startups in Washington. He's been a consultant for China. He's worked on building a high-tech city, and he was originally educated at Yale University. And thanks for being here, Brian.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So I met Brian through my dear sweet friend Pamela Phillips, who I wanted to put on camera because she's one of the most beautiful women in the world. She absolutely won't be on camera, but Pamela is a partner with Brian in Gemiini, and maybe you can just take a minute and explain to everybody what Gemiini is and how you and your wife started the company and what the need was.
Yeah, well, it was a very personal need. We had 2 children with autism, and they weren't responding to traditional therapy. So my wife looked at them and realized they were responding to television and movie where they weren't learning anything from a therapist. And so her basic idea was, if I can put their therapy into a movie, maybe they'll respond to it. And we did a lot of research. There had been groundbreaking research on the fact that video therapy, video modeling helped children even better than live therapists in some scenarios. So we put his therapy on video, and we spent 8 to 10 hours every weekend making therapy videos, and he spoke his first word 20 minutes after he saw his first video. He was 3 years old. They told us he would never speak. We should plan for what happens after we die. He'll be institutionalized. And he's in college, or has his own job, and is turning 21 this weekend. So I'll be taking him out for a beer and having a long conversation with this kid who was supposed to be nonverbal. So that's what started. And if you can imagine, every single child's different. Every single child needs very specialized therapy, and you couldn't make a DVD for this. So we created, if you imagine iTunes online with 100,000 videos we now have that we've filmed. And if you need to teach how to use a fork, how to go potty, the color purple, and who grandma is, you can make that playlist for the child to work on this week. And therapists use it all over the world. We have clinicians in Portland serving kids in Ireland. They talk to them on Skype, they put together a therapy session, they tell the parents what to do aside from it. And what's most important, and this is critical for so many families, kids with special needs need hours and hours and hours of repetitive therapy, and that's $100 to $200 an hour. And families can't afford it. So with video, we can deliver it to unlimited. Just here it is, here's your specialized plaything. Play it for him 40 hours if he needs it. And that's the basis of the business.
You had a great idea, and you actually created a company. Can you talk a little bit about what that was like? I mean, the research and the funding and everything that you needed to really get this company up and going.
Yeah, and it's one of the things I like to talk to young people about, because a great idea is nothing. You have to go do it, and doing it's hard.
Yeah, and the thing is, you may not be interested in special needs or autism or anything about what Gemiini does, shame on you, but you may be interested in how do I build a business. Yeah. And Brian, you can hit that.
We did it, and we had, and it's a part of resiliency too, we had this autism diagnosis at the same time in our life. We got financially wiped out, so we didn't have the money to do this. We had to go out to people. We raised small number. Someone gave us $15,000, and we made a small prototype video. And then we went out and we spent time, and we had to talk to lots of people. We went all over the world and wound up actually funding it in a small town in Washington where we started our office. Then they gave us $150,000. You don't go out and get $1 million. You don't go out and get $10 million to start a business. Someone says, here's a little bit, show me you can do it, and I'll give you more.
If somebody wanted to start a business, are there any like great books that you read that helped you, or mentors that you looked up to that helped you, or did you just kind of like scrap along? And
yeah, there are quite a few good groups. I would say there are angel groups in every city, angel investment groups. And what I would recommend is go listen to pitches. As silly as this sounds, Shark Tank has a pretty good feel of what smart people do to ask the right questions of beginning businesses. But these angel groups, especially local, you'll find local people, and an angel investor is someone who, you don't really have a product. They believe in you. They believe in your idea. And they're going to give you $50,000, $100,000 to get that first seed. And there are groups of those people in every town. Go to those angel meetings, meet the people, meet the professionals that are there. You'll find CPAs there, you'll find marketing people there, you'll find social media people who want to help you. There's a little bit of a buzz on starting businesses, and they want to help young people start them.
How many countries are you currently in now?
We have clients in 24 countries right now, and we are opening up. Pamela and I will be traveling down to Mexico City. We're now we've opened up an office in Mexico City to serve the whole Spanish-speaking world. And we have to look at this in a pragmatic way. I want to reach all the children in the world. English is a large language. Spanish is a large language. Portuguese is a large language. Arabic. So these are where we go. I had, it's a great story, but we had one mother call from Armenia and say, "Can you do it in Armenian?" And I was like, well, I can't build you a library for 4 million kids, but I have Armenian heritage. And I said to her, look, if you will film a well-articulated video library of the words, we'll put it all together in our format, and we'll just give it to you as a gift.
Great.
500 words. She took that. She was a doctor of psychology, and she now treats 150 kids in a center in Yerevan that she funded all by herself with just those 500 words and volunteers.
Wow.
So that was one where I'm very happy that I said, I can't, but I can do a little bit. And she took that little seed and
that's amazing.
built a tree. Yeah.
So talk about the relationship between Autism Speaks and you guys now, because that's been really instrumental.
Yeah, Autism Speaks is, as any good advocacy group should be, very careful about what they've done. So they've screened us with their whole scientific team. They know we've got some solid science behind us, and they've now started, we're doing some joint projects. We are doing the large clinical trial we're going to do is with one of their top scientists. And then if it all goes well, they'll help us roll it out across the world. I mean, another statistic here, and in the United States, if everyone who needed therapy, that's traumatic brain injury, stroke victims, Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, if they all got the therapy they need, we'd need 5 million therapists. And we have 175,000 speech therapists in America.
Wow.
So we don't have the people to help. Something has to step up. What happens is a kid in a poor school district gets 15 minutes a week when he needs 40 hours because we don't have enough people. So something has to happen that can automate. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to automate the repetitive parts of therapy and let the therapist do all the strategic thinking. Like I tell my wife and I tell everyone, right now it's like we have our engineers digging the tunnels by hand for the railroad. Like, no, I want my engineers planning. Let's get something automated to do the pick and shovel work.
How do you guys even measure success with the product?
A child speaks. A child understands. Some children will be mute for life. It's called apraxia. So, but they learn. They go from not understanding any words to having a receptive, they call it a receptive vocabulary of 1,000 words. And they can use assistive techniques to type, or they can use iPads to communicate. But many of the children go from not speaking to speaking. We have stories, we have moms write back and say, I just heard I love you for the first time. It's like, oof. We have kind of feels meetings where we'll read some of the emails from people. It's a very rewarding business.
If somebody watching this wants to learn more about Autism Speaks, or actually even see like a demo of some of your videos and all, how do they do that?
Yeah, so my direct email is like Brian, bkasbar, Kasbar, @gemini.org. Reach out to me directly. I would be interested. I've done startups. Anybody who's interested in doing a startup, write to me. I will, if it's a LEAP member, I'll call you. I'll actually talk to you about it.
All right, well, Brian, thank you so much for doing this. Next week, we will have another Meet the Mentor. Until then, if you don't know anything about LEAP, please go to our website, www.leapfoundation.com. And again, the program for LEAP Week will be July 22nd to the 28th at UCLA. And you will see Brian there and a lot of other amazing mentors. Until then, Dr. Bill, over and out.